Amsterdam is well known for being a city of controversy. It is a city infamous for sex, drugs, and the right to die. 35 health students from the University of Central Lancashire visited Amsterdam in March 2015 to find out more about assisted suicide and life behind the glass windows of the red light district. We begin our journey at the NVVE, a Dutch right to die organisation. The NVVE provides information, consultation and education about euthanasia and assisted suicide in the Netherlands. NVVE lobbies, supports and facilitates research and other initiatives related to self-chosen death. Their motto is "A dignified life deserves a dignified death."
Euthanasia. It comes from the Greek word euthanatos. Eu is good and thanatos is death, so it is a good death. And I'm sure that it has been done by doctors, because doctors don't want to prolong the life till the bitter end and help patients. So I'm sure everywhere it is done in secrecy. But here now it is openly discussed for years, and that's good. Euthanasia is a deliberate termination of life. Here it has to be done by a doctor, and it is on the specific request of a patient. I talk about euthanasia, and that includes for me also the assisted suicide, because only the way of doing it is different. Euthanasia, the doctor comes and gives you an injection with a dormicum, and then finally, when you're in a deep sleep, you get something that stops your breathing. When you talk about assisted suicide, that's only allowed by a doctor. It's going with the same rules, but then the doctor comes and hands over a drink and the patient drinks it himself.
It was really good. The lady that did it was brilliant and she was really thorough. It was good that they came up with like statistics, and we were quite surprised by how many cancer patients opt for euthanasia rather than like seeing out treatments and things. So yeah, it was interesting.
We call it the doll's house, the narrow houses. But it is a very...
The weekend was filled with tours and opportunities for the students to get to know Amsterdam for its history and heritage, with walks along canals, jaunts into courtyards and glimpses of art and architecture that Amsterdam proudly boasted to a captive audience. It was eventually to end in the infamous red light district, where by day a tourist curiosity, by night a hotspot for alcohol, drugs and sex on demand. It was here that they would learn the real secrets behind the red light sex worker. The next morning, the students are invited to a talk at the Prostitution Information Centre. Founded in August 1994 by Mariska Major, who had formerly worked as a prostitute, the PIC's goal was to make it easier for people in general to talk openly about sex work and to create public respect for sex workers, a word used increasingly frequently rather than prostitute.
Our goal is to get prostitution accepted as a job. We realize it will never be an ordinary job, but we still think it is a job. It's a thing you do for money and usually not for another reason. So we're here for the girls themselves, of course, but we're not a helping organization. If somebody walks in who needs help, then we send them to the social workers or to the health clinic or wherever we can find help. A little bit about myself. I used to be a sex worker, though it's a long time already, but I'm still talking about it. Maybe it's time for the young generation to take over. I'm also 20 years almost with Mariska. I used to have a desk job here, but because we don't get funding, I had to quit, find another job, and now I'm back as a volunteer because I love this place. I'm very scared that I still lead a double life in a way at my work. I'm a nurse in a nursing house and I do this here, and I'm sort of scared at my work because we found that all the women who are active in Proud or with Mariskas who were ex-prostitutes, which they told at their work, they all got their ass fired. It's really ridiculous. So you still have to deal with the double life and the stigma. And that's sometimes hard when you're an ex-prostitute for the rest of your life.
3 days of tours and talks from interesting characters and people that gave a real insight into Amsterdam. It was time for the students to pack up and go home. It was safe to say eyes had been opened and opinions challenged, with the students giving their final thoughts before flying home to England and back to their degrees.
I think what did shock me sort of was the fact it was round a church.
Yeah.
When you go back to England, there's no way would a church
There's
associate
actually a
itself
church
with
there
prostitution.
in the red lights.
No way.
Yeah,
But the fact that they were, I think that's what I like most. This is accepted.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's accepted, and they are treated with respect, and they're treated as part of everyday life, and that's how it should be. They're not made to feel as if they're dirty or whatever.
Sexual health studies, it's since I've started this course, really, it's something you don't really think about, but then now I know so much more that this is part of everyday life, and sexual health is going to be there whether we like it or not. And I think if even society, they need to open up a bit more. It's still a taboo subject, as much as this prostitution is a taboo subject. So it's just being open-minded, understanding that that's reality, that's life. And if we face things that people don't want to talk about, it's going to be dealt with, in a more, what can I say, sensible manner, trying to sort of like control things in a way. It's things that are happening that people just want to brush under the carpet, but it's there, and don't know.